So now that we've created the control, we'll look at how to connect it to whatever part of the rig that you want to. So what we're going to look at here is the control itself will, the up and down movement will control the up and down movement of the jaw, and the side to side movement will control the side to side rotation of the jaw as well. So first of all, as you can see, I've already got keyframes on the jaw that I want to control through set-driven keys. So it's always what you need to do before setting up set-driven keys is just make sure you delete any keys that are on the joint that you want to control. So any animation on the joints or the objects that you want to control will interfere with the set-driven keys. So make sure everything's restored back to default. For the control itself, if you find that it's too small for this instance, then everything's set up through a group as we looked at in the previous video. So I'll just scale that up, and as you'll see, it still goes a value of 1 and -1 in the Y. Okay, so Y is the up and down movement, X is the side to side movement of the control, and ultimately we need to know what the corresponding rotation values are. So up and down is rotation X, side to side is rotation Y. So we need to know those channels so that we know the translate Y of the control will control the rotate X, and the translate X of the control, the side to side, will control the rotate Y. So you need to know in advance which channels are going to control the channels of the driven. As always, before setting up set-driven keys, I always find it useful to key in the default position, which I'm doing at frame 1, then at frame 10 key in the max, and then at frame 20 key in the minimum position. So this basically means you can very easily go to each one max and min position, which is good for setting up set-driven keys, and you know that it's on frame 10 or 20 or 30, so you're keeping everything on values of 10. Okay, so we're ready to start. Make sure you're in the animation submenu, and you'll find set-driven keys under animate, set-driven key, set, and this brings up the dialog box which you're used to. We know that this control is the driver. It's going to be driving the jaw joint, so make sure you load it in as the driver. And we're going to start with the up and down movement, so that's the translate Y. We then select the jaw joint, which this is going to be the driven, so we load the driven in, and we know for a fact, let's just go back and check, that this is the rotate X. So we want to select rotate X. Okay, go to frame 1, which is the default. It's the default for the controller and the default for the jaw joint, and hit the key button in the set-driven key dialog box. Okay, so you've keyed in the default. Now we want to do is key in the full range. So let's go to the max position. We've already set that up to be frame 10 for the controller. So at frame 10, we want the jaw joint to just be a little closed, and key that in your set-driven key dialog box, and then go to frame 20, which is the min position of the controller, and ultimately just find out where you want the maximum open position of the jaw joint. So let's say it's something like that, and hit key. So now you will see that if you just scrub along the timeline, The jaw is moving because we've already put these keys in for the controller. So that's a good sign that everything's working. Let's just delete the keys on the controller, and if we now move it up and down, you will see it's now controlling the jaw. Okay, so that's the up and down motion all sorted. Let's go back to the default position. Now we're going to do left and right. So let's key in the default position, and then let's go to one extreme. I'm going to go left first, key that in at frame 10, and then at frame 20 key the other extreme. So you're just defining what the range is for your driver. Okay, there we go. So this time for the driver I want to have the translate X, which is the side to side, and this will control the rotate Y of the jaw joint, as you can see there. So this time I'm going to select rotate Y. A big thing about set-driven keys is just making sure you select the right channels of the driver to connect to the right channels of the driven. If you get this wrong, then obviously nothing will work. So that's the big part of it, is understanding which value of the controller is driving, which value of the child. So we've got this right. Go to frame 1, which is the default, and key it in the set-driven key window. Go to frame 10. We've chosen at frame 10 that it's the max on the left side, so let's rotate the jaw to the left. You can actually sort of read what the value is, so that's roughly a value of -26. If you want to be really accurate about it, let's literally type that in, -25, okay? And key that, and then so go to frame 20 where the controller is on the extreme right side, and then we know that it was -25 on that side, so the opposite of that is +25. So I know that it's kind of equal either side, and key that. Okay, so you're just keying in through the set-driven key dialog box where you want the jaw joint to maneuver. Okay, so ultimately, now that that's keyed in, you can scrub along the timeline and see that the jaw and the controller is moving. Let's delete the keys from the controller, and another check again, so it's all working. Okay, so we've now got the side to side of the controller moving the side to side of the jaw joint, and then we've got the up and down controlling the up and down of the jaw joint. So you can really maneuver the control for that real side to side and up and down motion. Okay. All right.